So, NASCAR just had its own Watergate moment. Bob Pockrass dropped a nuclear bomb in social media yesterday when he leaked internal emails from NASCAR executives, and let me tell you, what's inside these messages is absolutely jaw-dropping. But here's what's really got the racing community fired up. The 2311 racing executives, Curtis Polk and Eugene Mason, were caught red-handed talking trash about their own team owner, Denny Hamlin, behind his back. So stay tuned because we're about to expose everything that went down.
Ryan Blaney has won his way into the championship.
A great day for Kyle Larson.
Seventh career win in his 100th.
Joey Logano takes the checkered flag. Hell yeah,
Bob Pockrass, one of NASCAR's most prominent journalists, released a treasure trove of private email exchanges between NASCAR executives yesterday. These weren't just casual conversations, these were high-stakes communications happening during one of the most critical periods in NASCAR history, when the organization was negotiating a massive $7 to $8 billion media contract. Now, when you're dealing with that kind of money, tensions run high. People get stressed, everyone's on edge. That's understandable. But what these emails revealed goes way beyond typical corporate stress. These messages showed a pattern of backstabbing, trash talking, and serious dysfunction at multiple levels of the sport. Executives were bad-mouthing each other, teams were being criticized behind closed doors, and the overall picture painted a pretty ugly portrait of how business really gets done in NASCAR. Think about it, while NASCAR was presenting a united front to the public and potential media partners, behind the scenes, it was more like a battlefield. Everyone is pointing fingers at everyone else, and the whole situation is veteran drivers like Mark Martin speaking out, expressing disappointment that the people in charge don't seem to have the same emotional investment in the sport that the drivers and teams do. But here's where the story gets personal and really disturbing. Among all these leaked emails, some of the most shocking revelations involve 2311 Racing, the team co-owned by NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin and NBA legend Michael Jordan. Specifically, two executives at 2311, Curtis Polk and Eugene Mason, were exposed for consistently talking negatively about Denny Hamlin behind his back. Let's be crystal clear about the organizational structure here. When most people think about 2311 Racing, they think about the ownership. Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan. These are the faces of the franchise, the names and the door. Curtis Polk and Eugene Mason are executives at the organization. Their exact roles and whether they have ownership stakes isn't entirely clear from public information. But what is clear is that they're in positions of significant influence within the team. And what were these executives saying about one of their team owners? According to the leaked emails, Eugene Mason called Denny Hamlin a child. Let that sink in for a moment. An executive at the company referred to one of the owners as a child, but it gets worse. The emails revealed something that's been festering at 2311 for a while now. Denny Hamlin feels like nobody respects his opinion. Sounds familiar? It's like Rodney Dangerfield's famous catchphrase, no respect. Except this isn't a comedy routine, this is a successful NASCAR driver and team owner who's being dismissed and belittled by his own executives. According to the communications, Denny has been expressing frustration that the leadership team at 2311 doesn't value his input or take his concerns seriously, and rather than addressing these concerns professionally, the executives were mocking him behind his back. Can you imagine being in Denny's shoes? You're running a race team with one of the greatest basketball players of all time, you're competing at the highest level of stock car racing, and your own executives are treating you like a joke when you're not in the room. This isn't just unprofessional, it's a fundamental breakdown of trust and leadership within an organization that's supposed to be working toward common goals. But the disrespect goes even deeper. The leaked emails from months earlier show another point of serious conflict between Denny Hamlin and Curtis Polk. The issue? How to run the team financially. According to those earlier emails, Curtis Polk's main complaint about Denny was that Denny likes to throw money at everything. In other words, Polk felt that Denny's approach was to just spend without proper financial discipline or strategy. But here's the thing, context matters. Denny wasn't advocating for wasteful spending or throwing money away on frivolous purchases, he was pushing for investment. He wanted to spend money to make the team better, to improve performance, to build infrastructure, to compete at the highest level. That's not throwing money away, that's how you build a championship organization. This represents a fundamental philosophical difference in how to run a race team. On one side, you have Denny Hamlin saying, we need to invest more, we need to spend strategically to improve. On the other side, you have Curtis Polk essentially saying, no, we need to be more conservative with our spending. Both approaches have merit in different contexts, but here's what's inexcusable. Rather than having these discussions openly and respectfully, working together to find the right balance, the executives were undermining Denny behind his back, and that's not how successful organizations operate. Now, let's get real about NASCAR for a second. Anyone who's been around the sport knows that race teams are by nature somewhat chaotic environments. There's always tension, the crew chief blames the driver blames the equipment. The body shop says the chassis guys screwed up, the engine department says they need more resources, and this is just how it works in high-performance motorsports. Competition creates friction, and when you're dealing with the pressure of performing at the Cup Series level, emotions run high. Every race team experiences this internal civil war to some degree. That's normal and expected. But there's a massive difference between normal competitive tension among departments and high-level executives actively undermining and disrespecting the team owner. That crosses a line. These aren't mechanics arguing about set of choices or engineers disagreeing about technical approaches. These are executives who should be aligned with ownership, working together to set strategy and direction for the entire organization. Here's what really gets to the heart of this issue. Trust and respect are the foundation of any successful business relationship, and what these emails reveal is a complete breakdown of both. There are generally two types of people in the world when it comes to conflict. Some people will tell you exactly what they think to your face. Raw, unfiltered, sometimes uncomfortable honesty. You always know where you stand with these people. They might not always be pleasant, but at least they're authentic and direct. Then some people smile in your face but trash talk behind your back. They tell you everything's fine in meetings, but the moment you leave the room, they're criticizing every decision you make and undermining your authority. Which type would you rather deal with? Most people would choose the first option every time. Because even if someone disagrees with you, even if they're critical, at least when they're direct about it, you can have an honest conversation. You can address issues, you can work through differences, and you know who your allies are and who your opponents are. But when people are talking behind your back, that's toxic. That destroys organizational culture, that makes it impossible to build the trust needed for a team to function at the highest level. So where does this leave Denny Hamlin? He's now in an incredibly difficult position. He's learned through public email leaks, no less, that key executives at his own organization have been disrespecting him and undermining him behind his back for months or possibly years. How do you come back from that? How do you walk into a meeting room with people who you now know view you as a child and mock your leadership style when you're not around? How do you trust their advice, their recommendations, their commitment to the team's success? This is going to require some serious organizational soul-searching at 23XI Racing. So, what do you think? Should Denny Hamlin clean house at 23XI? Can these relationships be repaired, or is the damage too serious? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more NASCAR news and analysis.